Hello everybody, Nicole here with Blue Saturn Designs, and today I'm going to show you how to make these polymer clay covered pens and crochet hooks. There are three styles that I'll be showing you here today. So what we're going to need today is a placemat to work on, and I put mine upside down because the bottom side had less texture on it. We're going to need these three sets of colors of clay, a rolling pin, a blade to cut the clay with. The pens that I use are Bic round stick pens. We're also going to need some crochet hooks. The crochet hooks should be metal since we'll be baking them, and we'll need some pliers. I'm a mathematician and I wanted to find out a way that I would have less extra clay left over at the end. So I made this chart with 1/2 centimeter squares on it so that I could cut 1/2 centimeter cubes. And I found out that if I cut 9 cubes, I get about 4 pens. And but this is totally just whatever works for you. Now you're going to start with the lightest color, and we're going to warm it up by rolling it or squeezing it. This conditions the clay. Once you feel it's soft enough, we'll roll it into long pieces, and then we're going to put them all together once they're all conditioned. Now these next two pieces are a little hard, so if you can't squeeze them together, you can use your roller to roll it apart. After you roll it, you can also use a clay conditioning machine. Kind of looks like a pasta machine. And I'm going to fold it up a little bit so that it's flat enough to go through the pasta machine. And then it'll come out looking like this. Then you can fold it again and put it back in there. And to avoid bubbles, I'll put it in that direction. And this is how it'll turn out. And now I think it's soft enough, so I will roll it into a long piece. And now I'm going to continue to go lightest color to darkest. And that just keeps your hands cleaner so you don't get dark colors on the lighter colors. Now that I've rolled them all out, I'm going to put them together in a way that I can see all the colors showing. So like this, I can now see all 4 colors all around here. And now for all 3 sets of colors, I'm going to start in the same way. I'm going to start twisting, and I'm going to try to make sure that all the colors are still showing while I'm twisting. And then I'm going to roll it into a long piece. Now here you can see one of the colors broke apart, and that's because I didn't condition it enough. It wasn't warm enough when I started twisting it. But when you roll it out like this, it goes away. You can see here that it's starting to go away. Now to start the first one, I'm going to continue to twist. So I fold it in half, and then I twist again, and I'm going to roll out again. And you can do this as many times as you want to get a nice look on the outside. When I start liking the colors on the outside, I'm going to fold it in half, twist again, and then I'm going to start pushing inwards. And I'm going to try to make a ball out of this. And I can roll it in my hands, or I can roll it on the paper or placemat. And I'm going to get this marble look to the clay. Now the second one, I am going to do the same method, twist it until as many times as I want. And we are going to get a similar outside look. However, for this one, instead of keeping the outside, I'm actually going to cut it open. But I still want to roll it up into a ball. And really, if you're choosing what you want to do, you can look at the outside, see if you like that, or pick the inside if you like that better. For the third look, I'm going to wrap it into thirds here. Then I'm actually going to just take the outside look of that. So I can pick which side I like better. Now this is a bead tool. It has a nice flat surface. What I'm going to do is look on this one and see which side I like the best. And then I'm just going to try to flatten it with this tool. And then I'm just going to use my roller and roll it out. I'm going to try to make it into a rectangle shape since I want to put this on pens. So it'll be a lot easier if I make it into a rectangle. So I'm going to roll it out. And once I get it thin enough, I'm going to put it into my pasta machine. I'm going to put it in the long way, and this is how it comes out of the pasta machine. And I put it at my thickest setting, and now I'm going to lower the setting and put it in sideways. And it just stretches it more out. And I had to cut out the top part here in order for it to fit in my pasta machine, but I can still use that later. Here I put it in the pasta machine again at an even thinner setting, and I keep doing this until I've used all the settings. Then it'll be thin enough for the pens. Now this one we did in the same way. If you like the outside, you can keep it, but another way would be to cut it open. So I'm going to make this into a cube shape just to be easier to slice. And then we're just going to slice it in hopefully equal thickness. And this is what you get when you cut it open. So I'm going to cut as many pieces as I can, and then we're going to put them together. And the more times you twist in the beginning, the smaller those little pieces of colors will be. So every time will be something different. So now I'm going to pick the sides that I like, and I'm going to push them together. And I'm going to try to make them into kind of a rectangular shape. And I'm pushing these a little bit together, but I want to try not to smear the colors. But what's nice about this method is it's okay if there's overlap or just differences, because the whole thing is kind of different and doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to flip it over, and this side I'm really going to push the pieces together because this will be the back, so it doesn't matter if it smears or anything. And this is just to help the clay stick together. Now I'm going to start rolling it and try to make it as long as the pen. But once it's thin enough, I will put it through my thickest setting of the pasta machine. So I'll put it the long way through the machine, and this is what I get. It's a little closer to the length of the pen. And now I'm going to put it sideways through the pasta machine in a smaller setting. And this is what I get. I'm going to put it again through the smallest setting. So each time I put it through a couple notches down on my pasta machine. You can't, don't put it through the smallest setting right away. It might hurt your pasta machine, or it might smear the clay. So this is the third way, where we just put it into thirds, and I'm going to roll it until it's thin enough to go through the pasta machine. Here I rolled it enough so it's almost as long as my pen, and now I'm going to put it through the pasta machine the long way. And here is what it looks like when it's done. Now the first look makes a more marbled look, and where the colors kind of blend together. The second look, where you cut the pieces, makes little splotches of colors. And the third look is when you just fold it into thirds, makes kind of a more, I guess, bigger blotches of color. And now we're going to start making the pens. So first thing is we need to take out the ink because we don't bake it with the ink inside the pen cartridge. So we'll take that out, and then we're going to cover this pen with the clay. So I'm going to pick which side I like better, and I think I like the other side better. And I'm going to pick which side I like better of this one. So I think I want that side. So I'm going to put it upside down and I'm going to roll it over the pen. I do kind of want a more straighter edge. I don't want to get rid of this piece because I can use it later. So now that I have a more straight edge, I'm going to roll this onto the pen. And here I am going to cut the clay a little bit before it would touch the other side. Because we are going to fold it and push it together, push the sides together. So I'm going to push the sides together and kind of blend them so that you won't be able to see that line anymore. And on this side I don't have enough clay here to push together, so I'm going to have to add a little piece. And this is where that extra clay comes in. So I can choose which side I like better. And then I'm just going to add it onto the pen. And then just cut the extra off. And blend the sides together. Now on the other end, I want to push these sides together. If there's a little extra, you can cut some off. And I kind of want to just make it a little rounded and blend it together so you can't see any holes there. And then to make it smooth, you can roll it on your mat. Now for the side where the pen goes, I'm going to roll it a little bit with my finger to make the shape of the pen. And then there's some extra clay there, so I'm going to cut it off with my blade. And I want to make sure that no clay goes inside of the pen, so I'm going to just slowly take that off of there. Now to get rid of my fingerprints, I like to smooth it out by lightly taking my finger across the pen, and this makes it kind of smooth and it gets rid of the bumps, but I don't want to do it too hard because it'll smear the colors, unless that's a look you're going for. Now here is an air bubble, and to get rid of those, you're going to take your blade and cut open a hole for the air to come out, and then you're going to push the clay outwards to make sure the air comes out, and then putting the clay back together. Next I'm going to make a crochet hook, which is very similar to the pens. Just cut enough clay to cover the whole crochet hook. Once you cut the clay, you're going to want the seam to be at the back of the crochet hook. So I'm just going to take it off here and then position the crochet hook face down so that the seam will be on the back. And then the most important part is the top part here, because this is where the air bubbles are most likely going to happen. So just try to make sure that you don't make one up there, but the rest of the hook is just like normal, just like the pens. Now on the end I had some extra, so I'm just going to take some of that off, and then I'm just going to try to push it together till it's kind of round. And then I'm just going to smooth out the sides so that you can't see the seam. Now if you want to put the letter of the crochet hook on it, one way that I did it was I took some black clay and I cut it into the letter of the crochet hook, and I put it onto it before I baked it. Now to bake the pens and crochet hooks, you want to make an accordion out of cardstock, and then we're going to put it into the oven. I have a toaster machine that I use specifically for polymer clay because it does create fumes that you don't want in your regular oven. And I bake it for about 8 minutes at 275. Now here they're all baked, so I'm going to put the pen or ink cartridges back into the pen. And you can try pushing it in. If you can't, then you can use the pliers again. After baking everything, this is what I had left. I made a few pens and a crochet hook of each color, and this is how much I had left from each color. Don't throw away the scraps because you can use it later in other projects. Thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this.